I'm just gonna wait for some people to come. This is my elevator music while I'm waiting for people to come. Oh, my nub ashy. I need to put some lotion on my nub and my hand. I don't know where the people at. All right. But I got things to do. So just in case y'all are here and I just can't see y'all because technology sucks, I'm going to just go ahead and start talking. So there's a lot of conversation about the increase in the murder of women and girls. I guess the news, when you don't face murder every day, it's easy to sensationalize things in a way. And the reason that I'm saying it that way is because I'm always like, when there's certain things that always like jolt me, right? So for example, when somebody got killed and they were really old and somebody stabbed them, I'm like, what the fuck? Or a baby died blunt force. What the fuck? Like that. Yes, there are certain kinds of murders that like, grab me, and nobody calls me to go, do you have what's your reaction? Or we're doing a story about this particular kind of, this murder that happened. That's not what the media does. So now there's a lot of conversation about something that, yes, there's an escalation in these things, but it's not that these things are new. So I just want to say that out loud. Right? The killing of women and girls in our city and around this country is not a new thing. Double homicides, for whatever reason, is not a thing that they're even talking about right now. So if you pay attention to who gets killed, you know that there have been like 4 double homicides in the last week or so, right? In the last like week and a half, there have been 4 double homicides. And for whatever reason, that hasn't caught the media's attention. That's not something they're making a big deal about. So I really can't put my finger and my nub on what makes the media decide this is the thing we're going to really talk about and put in everybody's face. And so when there's an escalation in murder, rightfully so, the media reaches out to a few people consistently. The mayor, the police commissioner, and Erricka Bridgeford. And probably maybe Safe Street. So, somebody like that. But I definitely always get the phone calls and the text messages when there's an escalation or something. And so my answer before had been, because to me it's a weird question to ask me, like, what is my reaction to there was a spike in murder. Sorry, somebody was calling me. Which reminded me to turn my ringer off while I'm doing this. It's a weird question to me to ask me or to ask anybody, like, what's your reaction to a spike in murder? Like, the fuck you think my reaction is? Like, it's heartbreaking. It's devastating. It's hard. It's right. And you're asking me, a person who I'm literally going to go to every single one of those murder spaces. Right? And if I'm not going to make it to every last single one of them, somebody on the ceasefire team is, and we're having conversations about when it's going to happen. So it's just weird to ask the people who are going, like, literally engaging with every single murder space and engaging with, which means from a spiritual perspective, we are also engaging with every single soul that has left their body. Right? Because if you've ever been to a sacred space ritual, what we're doing in the space is talking. One of the things we're doing is we are intentionally talking to the person whose earthly life was taken, because we understand that they still exist. They have not disappeared, right? They still exist in the universe. And so we are we're saying things to them. And so it's a weird question, like, what's your reaction? But I was ready. I was ready in a different way now, just because of things I've been going through. So something that I have not talked about publicly, because I wasn't ready to care or hear about people's reaction to it, which now I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to care about people's reactions to it. So I'm okay to say it out loud. Something that I've realized, so there's this thing that happens, if you've seen me talk during ceasefire weekends, especially when when people get killed during ceasefires, if you've heard me come on live and talk about how I'm feeling about it, you've probably heard me say that I could feel that somebody was going to get killed that day. And I give specific examples of things that happened in my body. I used to call it a knot of anxiety. Like I would wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like I would wake up that morning with a lot of anxiety, just shaking my gut, all my stomach, this whole midsection from my stomach to my chest. I'll stop calling it anxiety, and I now call it a rumbling. It rumbles my spirit. And there have been times when I've had that rumbling, and then the whole day has gone and there were no reports of murder. And so I was like, oh, I don't know what that rumbling was about. Maybe nobody was going to get killed. And then the next day I find out somebody actually did get killed yesterday. And it's the worst thing in the world to be right about. And so I have had very deep emotional reactions to finding out that I was right about when I thought somebody was going to get killed on a particular day. During the last ceasefire, which happened in November, on that Saturday, as I was walking my dog, I woke up on that Saturday with a really bad rumbling in my spirit. And not just the rumbling happens, other things have happened. So like there was this one time I was in church on a ceasefire Sunday at Kingdom Life Church. And it was praise and worship time, which I love standing up and crying and singing because it heals my soul and I get a whole bunch of stuff out, right? And during this one, I literally felt like I could not stand up. And I heard the spirit realm just saying to me, don't move. You need to not move. Just stay seated. Just be seated. Don't move. You cannot move. And I'm like, well, I can't move though. And I was seated and I would not stand up. And so I just started crying. People handed me tissues and everything. Fast forward, I get out of church. I go sit in my car. I get the notification from the police that somebody got killed while I was in church. While I was on my way to church, actually. While I was on my way to church. That was the time I was driving to church at the same time that the person was actually killed, I think. And then later, when we went to bless that space, the story that we were told was that this person had been killed sitting in the driver's seat of their car. And so, and they had been sitting there for a while. Their body had been sitting there for a while. And so they were found sitting up, right? Just sitting in the driver's seat of their car. And so it explained to me why that was the reaction my body had. So, long story short, I'm aware about, because I engage with every soul intentionally that gets murdered in this city, they engage with me. And it's a two-way street. It's really just that simple. They engage with me as well. And so things happen in my body because they are letting me know something or reaching out to me or whatever. So all kinds of things like that happen. I could probably go on for another hour about all the different kinds of things that happen, but that's my point. So during the last ceasefire weekend, that Saturday morning, I woke up, bad rumbling in my gut, and so I'm just shook by it because I'm like, when you know somebody is going to die today, I don't know how to explain what that feels like, but it's not fun. It's not something I would give back. I want to be very clear. I'm not resentful of it. I'm not regretful. I don't want to send it back. I'm just saying it's not fun. And I was struggling with it that morning. And so as I'm walking my dog, I'm just like, oh my God, like, because I'm trying to, like, now that I'm accepting, okay, somebody's going to get killed today, let me brace myself. I'm trying to like do deep breathing and everything to just like get this feeling out of me. So like I can just be centered in my own peace. And then it dawned on me that I feel that a whole lot of days of the year. A whole lot of days of the year. And that normally when it's not a ceasefire weekend, I push through it because I'm a black girl in America. And there are all kinds of things that make us have rumblings. And, there's a lot of things that make black girls in America feel stressed and overwhelmed and whatever, right? So generally, it dawned on me that day that when I feel that same feeling throughout the rest of the year, I just ignore it. I don't process it the same way I do during a ceasefire. During a ceasefire, I'm very present with it. And I'm like, oh, this is about spirits and energy that's happening in the city, right? Or that's going to happen in the city. And so that Saturday as I'm walking my dog, I bust out crying because I realized very clearly, God literally said to me, I'm going to tell you the exact words. Here they were. What makes you think you only feel when people die during ceasefire weekends? What makes you think that you go to every single murder space, every week almost, or every 2 weeks, you go on your calendar and you intentionally go look to see who got killed, and you schedule all day long, or 2 days if you need to, where you are going to go to every single murder space and honor every single life. What makes you think that you do that all year, but you only feel in your body when somebody is going to get killed during ceasefire weekends? You feel it all year, beloved. And it broke me. I'm not even going to lie. That realization broke me to a new level, though. It didn't break me down. It broke me to a new level. It cracked me open to understand that I feel it in my own body, in my spirit, all the time when people are getting killed in my city, that it is something that I have a personal connection with. My energy is shaken all year long. It's not a simple question to ask me, what's your reaction to an increase in girls and women being killed in Baltimore? That's not a simple, you asking me now, right? So once I realized that, I had that awakening, I made a very conscious decision to protect my energy differently. That like, oh, if this is what's happening to me all year long, protecting my energy needs to look a lot differently. I need to do a lot more, not reading notifications on social media and not seeing everybody else's thoughts and comments and posts and all of that kind of stuff, because it's absorbing a lot of other people's stuff. And I need my energy to be free to deal with being shaken every time people are getting killed in my city, right? So I have been doing a lot more intentional work about protecting my energy, feeding my peace, being very serious about my peace has to come first. Because if I'm showing up for the city, I'm no good if my peace is not intact. If my joy cup is not filled, I can't be as strong and as powerful as God is calling me to be out here if I'm not making sure that, you know what I mean, that I'm intact when I show up, right? So I've been doing that work ever since the November ceasefire, just being a new level of intention around protecting and nurturing my own energy and my own power, right? And you may have seen the story that I told about, and because I started, right, and I noticed when I did that, things have been happening differently, including things like watching the energy of murder get upset. I'm going to say that again. We have been watching the energy of murder get upset. Things like last year, or maybe earlier this year, we found for the first time a bullet was left at a murder scene, which is bizarre, right? And I think we found 2 more bullets since then. So not only, so in the physical realm, you can say that's sloppy detective work. Abso-fucking-lutely, it's sloppy detective work. But for us, because we understand that all of this is spiritual warfare as much as it is physical warfare, we don't just stop at, oh, these police didn't do their job, somebody left bullets, a bullet is still here, or a casing is still, whatever, right? We don't stop, we operate in, but what spiritually, what is happening right now, that we are coming across actual bullets in the space, right? What is happening spiritually when a woman gets upset with me and wants to fight me because the person in her passenger seat asked me to sage her? And the other woman is like, no, and I want to fight you now. Don't sage her. Don't put that smoke in my car. And now I want to fight you. And then we all watch this woman want to fight me so bad, but it looked like something was holding her back from being able to get to me, right? There's a video about that on my page. You can go watch that whole story. But my point is, things like this, I know what I'm looking at. I know that I'm seeing the energy of murder and violence get shook. And when you get shook, you have to escalate because you're trying to make your opponent back down. That's what you're trying to do. Normally, if the average person shows up on a block and they still see blood stains and crime tape and bullets and the medical stuff that was being used to try to save the person's life, the average person would be like, man, fuck this shit. I'm not going to keep doing this, right? The average person would be tempted to give up. It's overwhelming. It would be too much. The average person would see an escalation in double homicides, 4 double homicides in the last week and a half. And get shook, like throw the whole city in the trash. What, we doing all of this work and still it's all these double homicides. We doing all of this work and all of these girls and women being killed. All of these people who look just like me. The average person would be shook. The average person is not me. I accept that I'm not normal in the way that I engage with murder and violence. I accept that I'm not called to be regular in this area, because who gets inspired by an escalation in double homicides? Who goes into, I did not come to play with you whores, when more people who look like her get killed? Who does that? I don't know, but evidently me. And I can tell you, I'm as surprised about it as anybody. In real life. So my real reaction is, this is no time to back down. This is no time to back down. There's an escalation in murder. You know what that means? Murder is shook. Murder is afraid. Ever since the Baltimore uprising, at least since the Baltimore uprising, it has caused more and more people to get involved in good work in Baltimore. In 2020, the entire country has had to come to grips in more intense ways than ever before because COVID, right? So injustices have always been happening, but because we're all now stuck in the house and we gotta just watch it. We can't go out to the club. We can't go out to eat as much. We can't gather as much. We can't even go into our offices as much, right? All of the things that we would normally do to be like, woo, oh, that's a lot. Let me go do these other things so I don't have to face that as much. All of those things have been shut down. So now, all of the inequities and injustices when they are thrown in our faces, we've been stuck having to just look at them. Right? Now, many of us already grapple with them and address them and all of that. But I'm just saying, America in general, as a whole, many more people have had to come to grips with the injustices in this country and the inequities in this country in ways that they've never had to face it before, never had to admit that it's really true. There are not just racist incidents that happen in this country. This is a racist place. They're not just sexist incidents that happens in this country. This is a misogynistic, racist place. Hashtag, we made our president. Our president is a misogynist. He on his way out. Look at God. But still, right, for him to even be able to become president, this must be a misogynistic, racist place for us to hire a misogynistic, racist president. Right? He must be aligned very much with the energy of America. Well, else he couldn't have got voted in. Right? Many more people have had to face that and come to grips with it and accept it as truth in America in 2020, right? So what does that mean from a spiritual perspective, right? What that means is more people have said, I have to be the change I want to see in my immediate community. More people, in order to be the change you want to see, because you can't give what you don't have. So more people saying, I want to get involved, it means more people have to do their own internal healing work. Because getting involved will trigger all of your own trauma. Getting involved will make you absorb and feel all of everybody else's trauma. So once you decide you want to get involved, what does that mean? It means you end up realizing, shit, there's some work I gotta do. There's some healing I need to do. There's some freedom I gotta get. There's some power I need to take back from my own fears and my own traumas and the injustices that have impacted me and created negative narratives in my mind, fearful, doubtful, lack-filled narratives in my own mind. If I'm gonna go out and help, I have to heal from lack to abundance mindsets, from victim to warrior mindsets. There are things I gotta do. So imagine a time in history where many more people are having to learn how to stand in their own power and are having to do their own healing work so that they can pour out into the world the things that they believe need to be poured out into the world to help heal the world. Imagine what your enemy has to do now when so many more people are going, oh no, we need to do something about this myth of white supremacy. Oh no, we need to do something about all the root causes of violence. Oh no, we need to do something about systems and structures of how racism is embedded in all of this shit. Oh no, imagine how shook you would be if all of a sudden, over the last 5 years, more and more people were coming for your neck. Because that's what that means to murder. All of these people getting to work in Baltimore, what murder is experiencing is so many more people are coming for its neck. So what do when somebody's coming for your neck? You got choices. You either lay down or you lay down, you run, or you escalate, right? To try to scare them off, to try to make them feel like you are bigger and better and you can take them down. And if they keep trying to come at you, they're going to have a fight on their hands. Let me tell you something. I don't give a fuck about having a fight on my hands. I came here like this. I came here fighting in the womb. I literally came here screaming in pain because I had a dead limb on my body. I don't give a fuck about having a fight on my hands. I'm a black woman in Baltimore. I've been having a fight on my hands since I was born. I got resilience in my DNA because of that. Just being black in America, your ancestors having been black in America, yes, it puts trauma in your DNA. It also puts resilience in your DNA. If not, we would have been wiped off the face of the earth a long time ago. Every system has tried. Every system continues to try to wipe us off the face of the earth and take away all of our hope and all of our fight and all of our everything, all of our belief in our own greatness. Everywhere we look tells us we ain't shit. So why are we still here? Why haven't we just laid down and been like, you right, we ain't shit. Let's just all give up. No, we're not doing that. So yeah, murder is escalating. Yeah, I'm not, yes. It's going to escalate for a minute. Things, if you understand anything about healing processes, just Google the healing process of when you cut your hand. Just something simple like that. It gets worse. It feels worse even. There are times when you think maybe it's infected because it got swollen all of a sudden and it's more tender and more red than it even was when you first cut your hand. It's a part of the healing process that it gets worse, it looks worse, it feels worse before it gets better. That's a part of the process. And when you are in warfare, that like we are in with murder and violence, when you understand that that enemy has been watching you, right? I know murder see the fire in our eyes. I know murder see me every week go see who got murdered and honor them and love them and end up saging and blessing houses. People saying, come into my house and bless my house. They don't give a fuck how junky their house is. They don't say pardon the mess. All they know is I'm coming in there to put love into every crevice and corner of their house. And that's what they want. Corner boys going, you know what? Give me the smoke. I don't care. I mean, I'm strapped, but being strapped is not enough. Give me the blessing. That is a quote from a few weeks ago. And that's one of many. One of many. So murder sees us doing the work. Murder sees you doing the work. Murder sees us doing the work on ourselves and then pouring that work out into our city. Murder sees that shit. It's not just going to sit there and be like, oh, they trying to get me. I don't know what to do. No, it's going to get aggravated and go like this. And come at you harder. Hoping like somebody is going to get scared or somebody going to get shook. Bitch, this is Baltimore. No, we not getting shook. I'm not getting shook. I am inspired because I know what I'm looking at. I know that I'm looking at the energy of murder escalate in an attempt to make me back down. In an attempt to make me go, this is too hard. It's too horrific to see women like me getting killed. And I got to show up at all their murder spaces. That's too hard. That's what we supposed to do. All of us are supposed to go, we doing all this good work and still we got over 300 murders. That's supposed to be our focus. Our focus is supposed to be hopelessness. That we're doing all of this and still. Meanwhile, nobody can tell you the number of how many lives were blessed. Nobody, because of the good work you're doing. Nobody can tell you the number of lives that are saved because of all of the good work everybody in this city is doing. But we know that number is more than 300. Whatever the murder rate is, whatever the number of murdered people are right now, the number of blessed people and people's lives who are saved is higher than that, the number of people who were killed. So I can hold both things in my soul at the same time. I can hold the pain of the people who get killed. I can heal that pain and navigate and address my own pain about it by doing something about it and showing up at every murder space and honoring every single life and helping and pouring love into every single neighborhood, and every single conversation that people have with us while we're out doing that is full of compassion and love and connecting people to the shit they need to help their lives and improve the quality of their lives. That's what I can do with the pain of how many people get killed. And at the same time, I can say, oh, murder shook. You must be shook. Just like, so you know how we say, right, as black people, we say that the reason white people have lynched us and enslaved us and continue to kill us and keep making systems to try to keep us down is because they are afraid of us, right? They are afraid of us. Blackness is a thing to be revered, right? It is a thing to be revered. Our brilliance, our talent. Blackness is a thing. White people love black culture. Don't give a shit about black people, though. In general, right? White society loves black culture because we make the struggle that we live in this society, we make that shit look glittery. We still out here stunting. I still got purple lips and black lips and white lips and blue lips and whatever fucking color lips I feel like having that day. In the midst of going to murder spaces every week, in the midst of every single murder shaking my core all year long, in the midst of all of that, we still doing the work. We still showing up. We still pulling more and more people into the different kinds of good work all of us are doing around the city. What would you do if that's what your enemy was doing? You would escalate, right? You would go, oh, they think I'm playing with them. That's what murder is doing right now. Oh, they think I'm playing with them. We don't think you playing. We know you serious, but we didn't come to play either. That's the thing. We didn't come to play either. So I'm not shook by an escalation in girls and women being killed. I'm not shook by an escalation and an increase in double homicides. I'm inspired by it. And I can be inspired by it because I know that those people have not lost their lives in vain as long as I have breath in my body. As long as you have breath in your body to do something that you think needs to be done in your community, people are not dying in vain. And they know it. They see us. Once they are out of their bodies now and they are vast, right? We're much more vast than we know that we are because we're in these bodies. We think we're much smaller than we actually are. But when you get free from this body, all blessings to this body, right? No disrespect to the body. But once we get out of this body, we are aware of our vastness. So people get killed, move over into pure light, understand how vast they are, and what do they look back and see? People showing up at the space where their body dropped. People calling their name, sending them love and power and abundance in their new journey in the spiritual realm. People talking, sending energy to the person who killed them, asking that the fact that they murdered somebody, let it break them. Let make them carry the weight of what they have done, and that weight break them to new levels of accountability and responsibility in their life that they will need to pour into the world because they know what they have taken. That the weight of it will crack them into getting the healing that they need. All of it. Imagine getting free from your body and you look back and this is what you see people doing. You're going to ride with those people. You're going to ride for those people. You're going to make sure your loved ones meet those people. Right? And that's what we see happen all the time. So I'm heartbroken. When I was scheduled, I woke up this morning, yesterday and today, just like sick to my stomach. I was in a good mood. Sick in here. Just the rumbling was just like, oh my God. And now that I'm aware that it has to do with people getting killed, two things. It's either people are getting killed or I'm getting ready to have to navigate and face something big in my life. Good or bad. Those are the two reasons that I get rumbled like that to the where it feels nauseous inside me. Right? And I woke up like that yesterday and today. So today I couldn't take the shit no more. And I was like, let me go schedule rituals. Let me go see. Because people talking to me. People calling to me. Let me go. And so I went, and what do I see? Double homicide after double homicide since the last. I'm scheduling them from the murders that have happened from December 11th to yesterday. 4 double homicides between December 11th and yesterday, and 2 of them were 2 women being killed at the same time. That is, yeah. So while I was scheduling them, I was like, oh. No wonder I woke up sick yesterday and today. Like, no wonder it wouldn't let me go until I came and saw, and then was like, oh, okay. So Christmas Eve, I scheduled to do 10 rituals honoring 14 lives on Christmas Eve, because I figure I'm free that day, and the energy of that day is a lot of people, right, feeling joy and happiness and trying to find ways to still connect with each other and build with one another, even if they can't be in person, and all kinds of stuff, right? So I'm capitalizing off of that energy that's already present on that day, and I'm going to take that and add mine, and we're going to go bless 10 murder spaces and honor 14 lives. That's what we're going to do that day. You can join us. But I'm going to tell you what's not going to happen. Ain't nobody out here shook. Ain't nobody out here like, oh no, it's getting so bad. What we going to do? We going to push forward, because we understand. I see the fear in Murder's eyes, and Murder sees the fire in mine. That's the truth of the matter. We have to keep our fire. You're going to be tired sometimes. You might need to go lay down somewhere. You might need to drop off the radar sometimes and just go sit somewhere, go in your cocoon, be by yourself. Sometimes, but that's not the same thing as giving up. It's not the same thing. And Murder is very clear that Baltimore is not giving up. We just elected a mayor who got a bush. The power of an afro is a whole nother video, right? The symbolism of it, the blackness of it, the black powerness of your mayor showing up with an afro. But also putting on his transition teams. When you look at the names on all those transition teams, these not you know what I'm saying? It's everybody representing all different walks of life, different types of work, from grassroots to data experts, all having to make decisions about recommendations together. Right? Stuff is happening in this city. The tide is changing. And guess what happens when the tide is going to go like this first before it comes down. And healing, it hurts worse. When something in you is healing, it hurts worse before it get better. You start off coughing and sneezing, and then 2 days from now you got a fever and throwing up and diarrhea. Before next week you be all better. It gets worse somewhere in there before it gets better. It's okay that we are in the worst right now. I know it doesn't feel okay. But I know what I'm looking at. I know that if I'm in the worst right now, it's because I'm called to be here at the time where it would be worse. We are called to be the ones. Imagine what you must be, that you were destined to be in Baltimore at its time in history where things were at its worst of violence and murder. And who must you be that you were called to be here at the time in history when things are at its worst? Who must you be? You must be the ones. We must be the ones who can navigate it, who can address it, who can heal it. And murder not going down easy or without a fight. It's arrogant as fuck. Murder is the oldest and darkest energy known to man. Most toxic. Let me not say dark, because I get some work done in darkness. So I'm trying to switch toxic. Murder is the most toxic energy known to man. right? So if it's at its worst right now, and we are the ones that's here to deal with that, we must have what it takes to deal with that. And we have to know it and believe it and walk in it. Whatever little thing you do, whatever little thing you do to help heal your community or the city at large or the person that you happen to walk by on the street, whatever it is that you do, it is for you to do because we are the ones. We must be the ones. Or else somebody else would be here at the time when shit is the worst. So I'm inspired. I'm inspired watching murder escalate. I'm heartbroken. But those cracks in my heart make more of my power shine out into the world. Those cracks in my heart allow for more love and power to be absorbed into me so I can be heartbroken while I get all this work. Because I'm also very inspired. I'm also very motivated. Like, oh, murder tried it in the last week and a half. All the reporters are on my phone. Erricka, what do you think? How is this impacting you? What does it mean that more girls and women are being killed at record numbers? What does that mean? It means that murder is shook, my guy. That's what that means. This is spiritual warfare. It's spiritual warfare. So when you understand that, I'm looking at it spiritually. Like, oh, okay, come on with it. Come on, what you got? Okay. It means you shook right now. I understand. I would be shook too. But I'm watching you escalate and I'm watching murder. We are watching murder throw a temper tantrum right now. That's what we're doing. Understand that in the spiritual realm, right? What we are watching when there's a spike, when there are escalations, watch also how much good work is being done. And then you understand, oh, the energy of murder is throwing a temper tantrum right now. The energy of violence is throwing a temper tantrum because it's watching us come for it. And there's nothing they can do because as long as we got breath in our body, we going to keep coming. And we raising our kids to come for it. And we having workshops and panel discussions and resource fairs, and everybody's mind is cracking open about what need to get done in this world right now. Everybody. People who ain't give a shit about racial injustice before. Now it's the hip thing to do. You ain't shit unless you talking about racial injustice. And how it impacts the fabric of our lives and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, of course. All of these epidemics got to throw a little temper tantrum for a minute because we coming for it. And things get worse before they get better. So when things get worse, that is no time to give up. When things get worse, that is no time for cowardice. That is no time to fold in on yourself. That is time to go within and find out if I am called to be alive at the time when things will be at its worst, what will that require of me? What must I need to do in order to navigate things being at their worst? In order to address and heal things being at their worst. What must that require of me? What must I need to go in and heal and do? What ancestors I need to be talking to? What spirit guides? What my relationship with my creator really looking like? Am I in constant communion with my creator? Am I in constant communion with my source? Because let me tell you what you need if you're going to be alive and well while things are at their worst in history. You better be in constant communion with some spirits, your creator, your ancestors, your whoever and however you believe. You better be walking strong in your values. You better be walking strong in your beliefs. You better be deep in your practices that you know fill your soul and refill your joy cup. You better be deep in that shit. So that's what I'm doing. Protecting my energy in ways I never have before. Because, right, if murder and violence is going to escalate, I better stand more in my own power. I better be more healed than I ever been before. Things that don't have nothing to do with my work in violence and murder. Things that have to do with dating and my neediness around who giving me attention or not. I got to heal all of that shit. I'm doing all the work inside of myself right now. Because it's required of me if I'm going to be addressing the worst that's ever been. Right? And that's why I can be inspired. Because I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at things getting worse before they get better. And so what does that tell me? Better exists. I know it's worse. But what worse tells me is that better already exists. And the only way that we will manifest the better is if we see the worst and we keep showing up. And we keep doing the things that will give us the strength to keep showing up. Because if we burn ourselves out, that's what murder is hoping that we do. That we go into panic and stress mode and wearing ourselves out so that we can be too exhausted to stand strong. We can be too exhausted to be thoughtful about our strategies, to be thoughtful. It won't even dawn on us what the answers and solutions will be because we're so tired and exhausted from having to deal with double homicides and women and girls getting killed. It's just too much. We can't take it. I respect murder's gangster in real life. I respect it. I mean, this is the way to get me. If you was gonna get me, start killing people that look just like me in record numbers and 2 at a time. Knowing that I'm the one that's gonna schedule to show up in that space. If you was going to get me, that definitely would be the way to do it. So imagine my surprise when that's what I see and I got pumped today when I was scheduling those sacred space rituals. Can't wait to see what miracles going to happen when I show up in those spots. Can't wait to see what loved ones and family members I'm going to meet now and stories we're going to hear and love we're going to be able to pour out and love we're going to receive to keep us edified and moving forward. I can't fucking wait. I can't fucking wait. That's what get me emotional. That's what get me emotional. The surety that I have, the knowledge that I have about what I'm looking at. I appreciate murder's efforts. I appreciate violence's effort in this spiritual warfare. But I just want to say to murder and violence, thank you for sharpening my weapons. Thank you for making my armor 10 times better. Right? Because I see what I'm up against. So my mother called me last week and said, baby, you need to get somebody to make you, things that you can wear that have your stones and crystals and gems and frankincense and all of that shit that has it in it so you can wear it on your body. Baby, at the end of you blessing spaces all day, you need to burn sweetgrass around you so you're cleansing yourself completely from everything that's trying to attach itself to you before you go back in your house. Baby, let me tell you something. All of this has just made people come to me with more spiritual medicines. All of this has just made me more aware of which weapons I need to sharpen and which healing I need to dig deep down inside and get, which traumas deep down inside I need to heal. My fears of abandonment and my fears of rejection and all of the shit that being born one hand and black and female in this world has done to me. I just can go in and heal those things. I've been doing work, facing my demons, turning my demons into angels. I've been doing work because once I realized that I feel every single murder in this city, that my body gets shaken every day in this city, when somebody is gonna get killed, when people have been killed, that shit is doing stuff inside of me without me even going to look yet to see who got killed. That every day that's what I'm dealing with just because of who I am in this world and who I am in my destiny. Yeah, my weapon's sharper now. My armor got a little bit more razzle dazzle out this bitch now. My armor is not again. I'm not. Because I ain't come to play. Murder didn't come to play. I can't come to play. It's murder. And I'm never going to see my brother again. And one of my cousins just got killed 2 weeks ago. And I had to go and bless his space. And that's the second child. That's the second brother in that family. This ain't no time for tucking my tail and running. This is time for my wings, bitch. This is time for my sword. This is time for my machete of love and light. This is time for me to walk strong and tall and proud that I was chosen to be here when things were going to be at its worst. You were chosen to be here. You could have picked any other time in history. You here in Baltimore when things are at its worst. Who must you be, yo? Who must you be? What healing must you go in and do so that you can be free to be everything that you called to be? Every single drop of what you are called to be. What do you need to go in and heal? What therapy you need to go get? What books you need to be reading? What journaling you need to be doing? What exercising you need to be doing? How much water you need to be drinking? How much live food you need to be putting in your body? What does that look like to you? For you, what you need to be doing? So that your energy is just free. You getting your power back from your fears and your doubts and your negative narratives. They have power in there that you are agreeing to give them. You need to suck all that power back and turn, and so that you can use that shit. Turning my demons into angels. When I face my fears and my doubts and my traumas and my pains and my triggers, when I face them and look at them and turn them over and inside out and have compassion for myself, for how they've impacted me, and not shame myself for where I'm not at yet on my journey because of the pain that they caused me. All of that stuff. When I go and do that work, that healing work, those demons now become my angels. Why? How do your demons become your angels? Because the very things that have been lording over you and causing you so much pain and restlessness and anxiety and depression and mania and all of that shit. I'm just naming mine. Go ahead and name yours. What is it for you? Name my three. Whatever yours, however yours manifests. All of that. When I'm facing those things and I'm getting to the root of those things, I'm getting awakenings. I'm getting lessons. And so now those very demons are teaching me who I am destined to be and who I can be and what the next highest vision of myself needs to be. And why this thing shook me and stumbled me in the way that it did so that I'm never stumbled again. I'm never broken that way again. And when I do get broken and stumble, my rise is on fleek, bitch. My rise, let me tell you something. My mother said to me, baby, if you ain't good at nothing else, people think you good at a lot of stuff, but what you really good at is getting up and dusting yourself off. What does that mean? That means I be falling all the goddamn time in my life. I be in gutters. I be in pain. I be in turmoil. I be in low self-esteem. And I done been in some deep hurt places. And I have learned that I'm good at rising. That's the blackness, the resilience in my DNA. And I'm assuming there's some indigenous people somewhere in there as well. I don't think my face completely look like this all because of black people. I feel like some of this got to do with some indigenous people. So I can't wait to really get my DNA and all that stuff done so I can really see like in my physical being, right? But I'm just saying it's resilience in my DNA. So yeah, some media called me and sent me some questions about, how I feel about women and girls who look like me being killed in record numbers this year. Them answers that I gave did not go the way they thought they were going to go. Because I gave answers about how I see murder is panicking right now. And I'm inspired and motivated by all the new souls. All the new souls that's joining us in this work. All the tears that's being cried right now over those lives. The magic that's in those tears. Because tears are cleansing and healing. There's magic in our tears. So all the tears that's being shed right now over all these people that's been killed. Just in the last, since December 11th to yesterday. All the tears that's being shed. I'm gathering up all the magic and all the tears. And I'm putting them at every single murder space. Sealing portals with love and light. I'm inspired. I'm hurt. But the way that my shit is set up, my pain motivates me. It has to. When it's people you're never going to see again because they got killed, it's either going to swallow you whole or it's going to motivate you. And that's what I use mine for. I use mine to go deep within and come out with power. Because power honors the life of my brother who was shot down. Power honors the life of all my cousins that's been shot down and killed. Power honors the life of my stepson Darius who's been killed. And all my friends. Power honors their life. This ain't no time to get shook just because murder want to throw a temper tantrum and show off. This ain't no time to get shook. So what's my reaction? Standing taller and walking stronger. With my warrior strategies and my warrior tools and my warrior clothes and my warrior symbols and my warrior everything. I got the Oya on my neck right now. Because that's how I'm feeling. Because that's how I'm feeling about it. So, feel free to share this video. Mull it over in your own soul. Have group discussions about it. Do whatever you need to do. But I just needed to, since everybody is asking me, like, Erricka, all the girls getting, women and girls getting, how you doing? What is it? I'm just letting y'all know. Ain't nobody shook. We walking taller and stronger. Cause I recognize murder is panicking. Yeah. its time is not going to be forever. Murder does not have dominion over the city, and it knows it, but it want to make us feel like it has dominion, so it got to show up real big and bad and ugly, so we can be like, oh, I'm sorry, master, that's not what we do around here. That's not what we do around here. We don't go, I'm sorry, ooh, master, I'm sorry. That's not what we do around here. We stand up tall and fight back. And we heal the things that need to be healed. That's what we do when things are bad. It's no time to run and hide and give up on Baltimore. No time for it. So, that's all I have to say. I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.